Okay, you guys, this is Malcolm, and never worked with Malcolm before, but first time for everything. So we're going to do some lip sync stuff today. And the first thing we need to do is load in the sound that we're going to animate to. And you load that right into the timeline. So if you just right click on the timeline and go to sound. Actually, it looks like we need to import it first. So just go to file, import, and then click on that sound. And it imports right into the timeline.
So I can move into your spot. So I can move into your spot. Start training camp. Old school, remember?
No one's been in my house.
So I can move into your spot.
What? What does he say?
So I can move into your spot.
So I can move into your spot?
Yes.
I can move into your spot.
Okay. Alright, so let's just cut this to about 30 frames. So we'll just do that first 30 frames. I'm going to do, that's kind of where the beginning dialogue kind of stops. Okay, so the other thing we need to do, make sure you're starting on frame 0 and end at frame 30, and then click the animation. You want to turn on auto key for sure, and then the next thing you want to do is click on the animation settings and make sure it's set to real time 24 frames per second.
What was the sound file type? Because it's saying it's an unrecognized file type.
Which audio file did you import? You just did file import?
Yeah.
It's a WAV file. The one I got is called 11-Second Club March Competition.
It's a PKF.
It's a WAV file.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just go to File, Import, you can just
Right here.
go to All Files
All files.
and just click it.
Unrecognized file type.
Okay, well, download it again. Go to 11-Second Club, and it's the first one. Yeah, make sure you go into animation settings and turn on real-time 24 frames per second. And then set from frame 0 to 30. Did you bring me one?
Yep.
I mean, enough for everybody?
No.
Especially Grumpy Cat?
Definitely not.
I don't blame you. So down on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see two little buttons. One looks like a guy with a little circle around him, and the other one is like a guy with a little circle above him. Yeah. Turn on auto key, which is the guy with the little circle around him. Switch that on, and then click on the next guy, and then you'll see some settings that say playback speed. Change that to real-time 24 frames per second.
So I can move into your spot.
Okay, what does he say again?
So I can move into your spot.
So I can move into your spots. So I can move. So I can move into your spot.
Yes, that's pretty good.
Okay. So what we're going to be doing, this guy says apparently, so I can move into your spot. What we're going to be doing is, first of all, shaping some of the mouthpiece. You click on down at the bottom, to the left of the little timeline slider, and to the right of the little timeline slider. To the left, change it to 0 and hit enter. To the right, change it to 30 and hit enter. So we want frame. We're just going to do 30 frames today. So the line is so I can move into your spot. Okay. So what we need to do is we're going to have to start shaping some of these facial shapes. And if you go to Google and type in the word phoneme or phonemes, and look at images, you can type in like phonemes and mouth shapes. They're called phonemes. Trying to find a good one because some of these are bad. Maybe like a real person's face. It's always better when you're looking for reference, whether it's animation or for modeling or whatever you're looking at reference for, to look at like real life reference rather than to like look at like something that's already been created reference, because you're getting like, you know, like for example, when I used to do some modeling stuff in here, students would always grab another game model and try and model off of that reference, but I was always telling them, don't get game model reference, get like real life reference and model from that. So same with animation. Like this is a picture of mouth shapes for different letters.
This one sort of has both photo reference and a simplification.
Which one is that?
Alyssa Lily Penny. By the end is nearest.
Is it, what did you Google to get that?
Phonemes mouth shapes photo.
Photo. Ah. Okay. It's not super. Yeah, that's kind of blurry. I don't know. We can just we can use some of these as reference and then just kind of figure it out on your own. Another thing that animators do sometimes when they're doing facial shapes is they'll have like a little mirror they attach to their monitor where you can kind of see what your face looks like when you make a certain shape. But we'll just go ahead and go for it for now. Okay, in my another trick is to like, we're gonna make a new camera and it will be our face cam. Okay, so if you go up to, let's see, if you click on, where's cameras at? Rendering. There's, if you click on the rendering tab, yeah, kind of over on the left, there's a create camera. And when you create it, it puts it at the bottom of the grid. What you want to do is move that camera basically in front of his face, and you can tap your space bar and then in any one of the views go to panel perspective, and you can change it to camera 1, and you can actually you just want to move that camera kind of up and back to where you can see the face. Actually, we might even want to zoom even closer into his mouth. Yeah, we'll just do mouth. And then you can lock all of the attributes on the camera. You just right click on them in the channel box. That way you can't move that camera around. So you can just, because you don't want to be animating and then you accidentally move the camera, and you want to lock that camera in place. And I like to have kind of a split view here, where I've got a perspective on one side and a camera on the other. And then you can hide whatever you want using show. So you can move around in your perspective and grab whatever controls you want, and then you'll see what the shape does in your face cam to the left. And you can split your view by you'll see all the little views on the left side of the toolbar. One of them is a split view, and then you can just go up to panels and change whatever you want in panels. To whatever view you want. But this is the one that I recommend. It's like this. It'll help you kind of do it pretty quick. And then I've kind of opened up Notepad here and typed out the line, and the line is, so I can move into your spot. And the first shape is going to be an S. So if you make you can look at those shapes that are on the phoneme thing. Or you can kind of mouth it with your mouth. And none of us have a mirror here, so you could, I guess, use your phone and do like a phone cam and see how like it looks with your mouth. So you just want to take these controls and start to shape that. Again, the line is, so I can move into your spot. So the first thing is that S. And it looks like it starts on frame 5. So the first thing you guys want to do is move to frame 5 and start to shape that S with the mouth. So let's go ahead and start there. And one of the things to keep in mind in here when you're doing facial shapes is to think about how your own mouth moves. So for example, if you open your jaw and close your jaw, you'll see that the upper part of your jaw never moves. The only thing that ever really moves is the bottom part of your jaw. Like your upper jaw stays put. So for example, like it's got this upper teeth control. Like that's not going to be to move these teeth up. That's in there because this guy's a cartoon, but in reality, your face, your upper teeth don't move. It's the only thing that rotates is your lower jaw, rotating your lower teeth. Does that make sense? And really, this guy's got some teeth controls in here, but again, you know, your teeth don't move individually. So if you want to open your teeth, the reality is you want to rotate the jaw to move the teeth. not just move teeth. And another thing, like if you make a facial shape and you don't like it, you can always just click all the controls and then just zero them out in the channel box. You just go to File, Import. It's the very first one in the archive. Yes.
It's straight up camera. Second.
It's the second one? Oh, maybe it's the second one. Another thing is on the left side for your facial camera, I went ahead and hit all the controls. So basically, that's your camera to look at. Your perspective here is what you work in, but the one on the left is the one that you can see exactly what the face is going to look like from the front shot. What did you do?
If I knew, that'd be great.
Did it really crash immediately? It did. Yeah.
It's crap.
So remember, when you're doing animation, you don't want it to be super subtle. You always want to make sure that it's just a little bit exaggerated. So this is what I got for S. The S shape here to start. It's basically just, I just lifted up, I grabbed these square control, I left the mouse shut and I grabbed these square controllers and just moved the square up a little bit and moved the below square down a little bit. And then I might have rotated the jaw just a tad. Nope. I just kept the jaw completely closed and just made this S shape. So when you're done with that, you can just drag a box, select all the controls, and set a key on frame 5. Make sure you select all the facial controls. And that's on frame 5. S. And then you want to make sure auto key is on.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move.
That's okay. You want your first frame to be frame 5, and it's just an S shape. So the next, you can move to frame 7.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your... I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to...
And the next shape is going to be an O. He says it's so fast.
I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
But we'll go ahead and make that O shape. And if we need to learn a lesson here, we'll learn one. Actually,
I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your...
let's just make the I shape on frame 7, and we'll see how that looks. And if we need to make an O, we'll make an O. So next is just an I. So forget O. And you want to do that on frame 7. And you want to make sure that every single frame that you set all keys for. Because the last thing you want to do, what we can do is when we start having a lot of these facial shapes, we can copy those keys. So instead of having to remake them every single time. So for example, we starting off with the S at the beginning. Once we get to spot at the end, we can just copy that S frame instead of having to reshape the S frame. Does that make sense? No need to do a whole lot of work here.
I can move it to your spot. So 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 I can move it to...
So far we have made an S, we've made an I, now we need to make a C. So the S is on frame 5, the I is on frame 7, and we'll go ahead and make C on frame 9. So for the I, all I did was just open his, I kept it the same. And I just opened the jaw a little bit.
I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your.
And actually, it looks like on frame 9 it wants an M.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can.
So right now, I've got 3 frames set, and I have S at the beginning, so S at frame 5, and I have I at frame 7 and M at frame 9. And for M, all I did was just zero out all the controls, and he closes his lips. So M on frame 9. Yeah, I started with the C, but that beginning is so fast that I think we're gonna create all these letters, and we're just gonna he's gonna blow right by him with what he's saying. So it's you're gonna kind of lose.
I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
Yeah, I mean, so I just have 3 frames set. So at 5 I have S, at 7 I have I, and then at 9 I have M. And that seems to be working, so we didn't need C. So it's just... Now we definitely are going to need an O, and we can set that at frame 11. So really it's SIMO. And I'll keep that up here.
Move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move.
Yeah, so frame 11 we've got O. Or OO.
I can move it to your spot.
And sometimes what's happening after I create this M, or the O after the M, is that because these frames blend into each other, you might have to set a double M frame. So you might have to copy that M frame and like set another M frame right next to it. So that it makes sure to hold that M.
Oh.
Does anybody have any questions so far?
One of those.
Alright, so I'll put the frame numbers up here. 7, 9, 11.
Move it to your spot. So I can 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 move it to your.
Yes. Yes. Did you say do animators go insane doing that? Yes. Yes. So then it looks like it looks like frame 13 is going to be I, or I, which I guess is I. So frame 13 is going to be like I, or I. Yeah. So with this I, you can actually copy your I frame, which is on 7, paste that on 13, and you can just tighten up rotate the jaw up.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
And there's definitely going to be a T in there. So I would say frame 15 is going to be T. And I'm putting all the frame numbers up here, you guys. So you can see exactly the shapes that I'm making here with the frame numbers. You copy and pasted Malcolm? You duplicated Malcolm? Who can help him get rid of Malcolm number 2? Anybody know Maya well enough? And sometimes, this is also kind of cool, so sometimes you need to make a shape with your mouth. Like I think on frame 17, I need to make like a, kind of like a Y for your. So like, instead of like taking the time to make the shape, you can go back over the dialogue that you've done and see if any of the frames in between kind of look like that mouth shape. And then like this is the shape that I actually like. So I'm just going to move it to that frame. Then I can middle mouse click to frame 17 and hit S. And it will set that exact pose.
So I can move it to your spot. 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 So I can move it to your spot.
One of the things you want to be careful of is as you're doing that, as you're using kind of the same facial frames over and over again, if you're just kind of copying and pasting those, sometimes your facial animation can kind of look a little repetitive because you're using the same shapes over and over again. So after you do it, you want to do like a first pass as quickly as possible, and then you'll go back and look at it, and when you refine it, you can, you know, if you need to like change things up a little bit because it's looking too repetitive, or accentuate a certain facial shape a little bit more to just kind of make it pop a little bit more. But your first pass should just be fast, 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 see how much you can get away with, and then go back, and then, because your whole goal is to be able to do this as fast as possible so you can move on to the next shot. So again, now I'm in a place where I'm just literally, I've got, you know, 5 or 6 facial shapes down, and I'm literally just copying and pasting frames. So like it's kind of the same stuff over and over again at this point.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
So 19 is S.
Spot. So I can move it to your 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 spot. So I can move.
Looks pretty good.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
Does video player not work?
So I can move it to your spot.
Have fun with that, Eric.
So I can move it to your spot. 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 So I can move it to your spot.
The other thing, when you get finished with your frames here, you just click in the video you want, or the view that you want, and you can right click on the timeline and go to Play Blast option box. And if everybody just tries this real quick, would you just right click on the timeline and go to Play Blast option box. And what you can do is down where it says save to file, just go ahead and save as a whatever file on your desktop, and then hit Play Blast. And then when you're done saving, you can go onto the desktop and right click onto that file and go to properties and make sure that that video file opens with Windows Media Player.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
And then you can watch your dialogue basically over and over again.
I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
At real time and see if, you know, it looks.
So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot. So I can move it to your spot.
See if it looks right. And you're not, I mean, you know, you're not going to get this your first time perfect, so you may need to take, you know, make sure whatever view you click in, whether it's your face cam or your perspective, that's the one that's going to play blast. So you want to always play blast your face cam.
So I can move it to your spot.
So everybody take another, like, you know, 10 minutes or so and try and get through this. I put all the words that I used up here for all the frames. One of the things I did at the very end, you'll see I have 27 close and 30 close. If you look up here, you can see from 27 to 30, all it is just like after the mouth closes, it's just a little kind of mouth shake, murmur kind of thing. It just kind of sort of like just moves a little bit instead of just no movement. Sometimes when you're animating, well, most of the times when you're animating, you never really, as a person, or your mouth or your head or your body, you never really stop moving. There's always some sort of little movement going on, so you never want to have any dead frames in your animation, if that makes sense. Another thing to think about with animation is nothing in your body moves linear. Okay, so all of your movements, you move with a curve. If you think about it, when you open your mouth, it's moving on a curve. When you swing your arms, it's moving on a curve. So everything in your body moves with a curve. That's why in animation you have the animation graph editor and stuff like that. So get me some, I want to see everybody's stuff. Let's get through 30 seconds here, and then you can see what pain animators that do mouth shapes go through when they do this stuff. Isn't that right, Ira?
Oh, wow. It took like 5 minutes to delete the other one. I thought it arrived, but then it came back.
All right, give me some facial shapes. I want to see all your stuff.
I'll take it from there.
Couple.
How do I set it up?
Shit.
Click the Windows icon. Yeah. Type in stuff.
Fuck, it is a whole lot. What did you do?
You just zoomed in.